Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Heather. Today I'm going to explain you how you can make this boring looking diagram into a more attractive diagram. You just have to use simple tools as I explained in my previous video. So first of all, I'm going to start with taking a square, and I'm going to not a square but a rectangle. Then I'm going to copy that rectangle and make other small shape to make a small lid. So another one I will use as the background, so it shows that how does the reactor looks. Actually this one, the one I used previously, was looking a jacket, and this rectangle now I'm using to show the inside of the reactor, what's going on inside of the reactor. Later on when I will fill in the color, then you will easily see what's going on in the reactor. So now I'm going to make and draw everything slowly and simply. So as you can see, there are three outputs, which one is a gas sampling, the other one is a vent to fume hood, and the other one is a water outlet. So I'm just making a small valve, as you can see on the right side of the picture, and now I'm gonna make one valve and copy this as a picture, because I'm going to use this again and again in different parts of the diagram. So once I have copied it, so I'm going to replace this valve again and again, and simply I'm going to go proceed whenever I need it. So once you make an image, you can also keep it as a small icon, and you can use it again and again in your diagrams. So now you can see I made a small block as shown in the picture on the right hand side. Yes, I'm gonna make another line, and now in similar way I just finished the first three outputs of my reactor. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna just align them properly, and also make space for the other diagrams, for other lines and other like process inputs and outputs. And also I'm going to make auxiliaries, and for example the pressure gauge, which is on the right hand side. As you can see, it's not too difficult. So now I'm making a pressure transmitter. As you can see, this is a signal, so I'm just making a dotted line so that can be more, I can emphasize a bit more. So I'm just using simple shapes like rectangle, blocks, and a circle. So now I'm gonna draw a simple pressure gauge. Drawing a pressure gauge is not too difficult. So what you have to do is just take a small circle, and then zoom in a little bit, take a small lines, and then in order to draw the gauge, like the numbering of the gauge, you can just use a small lines, and then group them together and place them one by one. It's difficult to make them in a circle, so I just find an easy way that make them two in a group, and then copy them with a little bit distance. So you can just copy them by replacing them, and also moving them from one point to another. So now I'm just making a small gauge, and this gauge can show, I just can give an idea that it is a gauge, and if you look at it from a distance, you can know that okay, this is a pressure gauge and it's showing something. So you don't have to be too detailed, because this is going to look so small at the end, then you don't have to, it will almost look more beautiful. So I'm just drawing a needle in it so that it can show the value for pressure gauge, not exactly variable, just an analog. So you can see there how does it look. So now from a far distance you can see it looks more beautiful. Now I'm going to group it and keep it as a icon, and I'm going to use it in the other part of the picture, as you can see on the right hand side in the cylinders. Now I just made this icon, and now I'm going to move to the next section, which is the motor, or the driver of the driver in the reactor, which is going to which drives the stator inside the reactor. I'm gonna draw the motor like this, and I'm gonna place this one, which is to show or make this driver little bit more attractive. Later I'm gonna fill in the colors, and it will look more better in the end. So now I'm just simply doing what I'm doing is just adding whatever they have in the reactor, and just putting it in that way. So now I'm just adding a PRV, pressure release valve, and now I'm gonna work on the coil, which is that the water comes in and the water goes out. I just showed that the water will come in as a cool water, and when it goes out it's almost hot. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just making a coil for the water inlet and outlet. As you can see, it comes from the top and goes out, goes in the coil and goes out. And then what are we gonna do is we're gonna make a stator. So just use a small straight line, and just use a small icon, as I showed you where to took from in the icon set. You can make them small so that they don't look too big according to the size of the reactor, and you can change the color and make it look like this. Later on, moving further, I'm just gonna just a little bit slight adjustment so that I can see that things are looking good or not. So whenever you make something, just get a overlook now, or I mean, like, just give a check it how is the diagram looking from a far point of it, because when you are too inside the diagram, you cannot notice what's the difference and how is it looking right now. So just making small details which are in the diagram, so that they can be more realistic and can look more like more I don't want your you don't want your diagram to be too empty or have too much empty spaces, so you need to make it as much complicated looking, but also meanwhile also looking interesting, not too boring. So that's the point in making these diagrams. So as you can see, I'm just using simple tools, lines, and increasing the width of the line making. Now you can already see that the look of the reactor looks so nice. Now this is just without the colors, so when I'm gonna add the colors, it will look more interesting. So you don't have to think that this diagram is difficult, but you only need to have a small sketch. You need to make a small sketch or outline of the reactor that you are making, and later on when you have when you have rough draft, then you can make this draft more exciting or more colorful, whatever you like, because once you add the colors, the theme or the image completely differs from the one that you started. So now you see, as I made this icon before, so I'm just gonna use this icon again and again at different places, and that's how I'm gonna work with it. Now I'm just making a ball valve, so you can see that just we take a small circle and put it in the center of it, and it does the purpose. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this pipette, the liquid slurry charging pipette. So I'm just gonna make this one using small icon sets in the insert section. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna make a small section, and then I'm gonna add the numbers. So as you can see, how I'm gonna add numbers, there are two different ways. Either you can do it manually, or you can just select all these and copy one by one and paste it at different intervals. So now once you have a big set, then you can copy and then paste. One way to align them together is just doing manually one by one. First I was doing like this, but it wasn't looking good, so I was trying to do manually. Then I remember there is another tool that you can do. Another way you can do is that you select all of them, then go in the arrange in the home button, and then you can easily do it. Right now I will just later on I will just show you how to do it easily. So now you just select it, go in the arrange section and align to left or right as whatever you want. So now you can see there's a great symmetry between them. So now this is my main pivot. It looks too big, so I'm going to use it as a picture so that I can adjust in the space I have. So now I'm going to add, most of the work is done, everything is done. I'm just going to use this simple icons that I made in the start. I'm going to use them again and again to put them, because there are a lot of valves now in the diagram, so I'm going to use those valves in the figure by just copying and pasting. So now the major thing is done. The small part which include is that we have to work on the cylinders, which is the nitrogen and oxygen for purging. So we are going to use those cylinders, and we're going to make a small diagram. And now I'm just adding small valves which I need to add on the pipeline. So you can see that now I'm making the air vent. So air vent is pretty much simple. You just need to copy, we just need to make a small diagram. So now I'm just using small lines to make that look much more better. So now most of the part is done, the reactor is done. The main part that will come is when we are going to color and put some colors inside. So now these lines do not look exactly as a pipe or something. They do not give any impression. So I'm gonna make them look like that they give some impression by changing the shadows or by changing their edges or curves. It's not too difficult to do it. Now you see that once you have one icon set, and you can just copy and paste it. What I do is I make an icon and group them as a one image, and then I just use them again and again. One problem is that when you use an image as a picture, you cannot change the color, but you can change the size. So in this one I'm just using the same icon as a object, but I'm not using as a picture. But at places where I need, I do make them as a picture, because I need to decrease the size or that. If I do it manually, it takes a lot of time. So that's why I already made these ones and then did like this. So now just pretty much simple. So I'm just doing the simple step, connecting the lines, adding the valves. It's simple. Most of the thing you don't have to worry about. You can skip this part and go into a little bit further in this video, where you can watch how I do the pipelines, how I change the color of the pipeline. This is a basic step, so I'm just making it so that for those who are new, they can understand how to do it. But for those who already know how to do these kind of simple things, it's really easy for them. They may skip to the next part and also can watch at what's going on in the later part. So now I'm working on the cylinders. Now I'm just adding cylinders and making. So one easy way is that you make one and then copy and paste another one. So that's another way. One is that you make one image and then copy and then rotate that image into another image, which is like you flip that image into the right side, then you can have the same image on the other side. I might show in this video that how I did it, but actually I used I just copied and pasted, so that's why I might not be able to show you in this one. But I'm gonna show you this how to do this in the next video or in upcoming videos sooner or later. So the purpose behind these videos is that you can increase the quality of your work, or you can increase the worth of your work by simply making diagrams or simply making your graphics more interesting and more attractive looking. If your manuscript, or if your work is really great and you did a really great job, but if you didn't present it well, it doesn't matter much. So what you have to do is that you need to present your work in better way. They say it doesn't matter what you say, but it does matter that how you say it. So it really matters that what you do, and you need to portray that thing in a really good way. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm just adding simple diagrams, and I'm just speaking because I need to cover this video, and I need to speak because I'm just trying to do in one take, so I cannot stop it. So that's why I'm speaking. As you can see now, everything is mostly done, so I'm just gonna remove the see one more time. What I'm gonna do is that what it needs an extra part, something small minor changes, slight bit adjustment, so that it can have a good look. Now on the far if I look on from the zoom out position, now I'm gonna clear everything out. I'm gonna write the text, I'm gonna add the text, and I'm gonna see the diagram one more time, and then I will see which places need improvement or which places need some light and more adjustment. Right now it looks quite boring, similar to the graph that I showed before. I can make it more beautiful. How? I will show you one by one. Now I'm just adding text and color. So I'm just adding text, color, and changing the line depending upon which stream it is. So if it is water, make it water. If it is hot water, cold water, you can do it. Now I'm adding a gradient in the line which can show that the water is turning hot from the top to the bottom. As you can see, I'm adding gradient. That means my pipeline has cold water, now it's turning into hot water. So this is one way to show, or use gradient to show how the water changes color from one form to another. So I'm just adding changing these ones into same color as the pipeline, for just to make it a little bit more interesting and more exciting. So now I'm just changing the colors which I want. I accidentally change the color to the green one, which I needed to change in the yellow one. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna change them again back to the yellow, the same original color as the tank. So yellow didn't look much better, so I just changed to another orange, dark orange color. So I'm just adding these colors, slight adjustments to see what I can do. Now I'm gonna go to the another part, which is looking what other colors I can add to the other pictures or other places. Now I'm gonna add the inside reactor, what is going on inside of the reactor. I'm gonna bring these things in the front and send the picture background, and I'm gonna change this liquid into a gradient, which shows that the water is, or the product is, hot at the bottom and light bit the temperature a little bit different in the top. So that shows a gradient how the temperature changes in the inside of the reactor. So now pretty much the reactor is done. Now I'm gonna work on the pipelines. So the pipeline needs some slight adjustment. I'm gonna change these and change the shape effect into more H1. I'm gonna give them a bend and B level. I'm gonna make them into the B level in the last image. Now you see that these pipes were literally simple lines. Now they, with the effect of the shadow, they look like a pipeline. So I'm gonna repeat this step for other ones also. In order to save time, I'm just gonna skip it for after some time. As you can see that I'm changing colors. Black doesn't show enough, so I changed the color into a bit of a gray color so that it can be more prominent. There are a lot of things, a lot of pipes to do, so I think I'm gonna skip this in the middle part so that you don't have to watch a lot and you don't have to watch the same step again and again. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna do it for you. I'm coloring in the reactor. I'm changing the color of the reactor so that it looks like a more metallic touch, because reactors are normally stainless steel and they look more beautiful with a different color. I'm going to add now text to the file, so I'm just going to paste in a separate file, and I'm going to add the text in the file. So wherever it needs text, I'm going to make it in caps lock and make it bold and make it capital letter. So I'm going to add the text where it is needed. After adding the text in the main diagram, I'm going to copy this image again, and I will paste it as an image, and then we'll work on the other part. So now it's just an image, so I want to make it a graphic abstract. So what I can do is that I can copy this image as a picture, and then I'm going to add a background to this using a gradient color so that it can give a special look for the picture. Actually, I did this diagram twice or thrice because my screen recorder didn't work out. It gave an error after I made the whole diagram. So actually I had two different designs, so I will show you how it looks. This is my second design. I also made a first design. I'm gonna add some pictures in this so that you can see the difference between the first and second one. although it took a lot of time, but I hope this thing helps you out and also helps you in figuring out how to make it for your diagrams. So now the thing is done. I'm gonna add a gradient to the background color and see how it looks. I'm gonna add different variations so that you can see how it looks in different color, and you can choose depending upon your own choice. I'm adding different gradients so that you can see it looks better in which color. So again, like I told you, the color choice is your own. You can change the color whatever you like. These colors are not looking good because I was trying to see if the red looks good or not, so I'm gonna delete this one anyway. So this is the before and after look for the diagram. I hope you guys like the video. I'm just showing you different variations which you can do. So these are the diagrams that I made in the really start when the first time I was recording for this diagram, but I couldn't record because there was some glitch in the screen recorder. So guys, I hope you guys like the video, and I'm just showing you different variations in the diagram so that you can see, you can understand how you can play with the colors and how you can play with the diagram to make them more look beautiful. One more tip for this graphic abstract is that you can add a text box in the end and the small bottom so that you can explain what is happening in your diagram, and also you can explain how you can do it. Please do like the video, leave your comments down in the section below, share it with your friends so that they can also learn, and till then, take care. Allah Hafiz. See you in the next video.